What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Tribe of Runners. I'm your host, Liz Myers, and today I have a topic that I want to talk about that I was actually reached out to and was like, hey, I haven't heard much about this topic, and I would love to hear your opinion and some thoughts that you have on that, and that is training at night. So, before I get into this topic, I just want to give a little update on life because it has been a hot minute since I've been on the podcast and like really given what's going on with training. So, as many of you may know, I just got back from crewing and pacing at the Monster 300, and it was an amazing experience. Got to learn so much, got to experience another 200 plus mile distance for crewing and pacing, and like learned just so much. So, I was super thankful and appreciative. And if you haven't listened yet, my most recent episode that was released was with Charles, who is an everyday ultra athlete and crushed the first 300-mile out there. So it was an amazing time to be out there with him. I seriously am so proud of him. So shout out. If you missed the episode, go check it out for sure. It is a great one. And it's so amazing to hear his journey and just be a good friend of his and be there and support him along the way. But my training has looked kind of crazy and not more or less any other the reason of like just life has been crazy and it happens. Life has been really crazy. Honestly, my personal life has been crazy. I was moving, I went crewing and pacing, and then managing the dogs, the children, the partner, trying to make everyone happy, plus also working with all of my amazing athletes and the Everyday Ultra team. Life just got a little bit too much, and I was putting running on the back burner. Nothing wrong with that. And at the end of the day, like sometimes in the midst of training, you have to decide like what you can prioritize and what not. And to be 100% honest, right now, my race isn't until ooh, August. So my next big race is in August, which is H9 Dragon Spine. So I really have time. And at the end of the day, thinking about everything, like I needed to prioritize some other things rather than training for once. So I actually, kind of let things get inconsistent. And then when that happened, I got more inconsistent and the motivation slowed, the discipline was not there. And then getting that back is hard. And, it's trying to get back into the swing of things. I've been running ish, not super consistently, but enough to kind of get by. And, my big talk with Joe and just like trying to figure everything out was like, you just need to get consistent again. And I know that. And the hard part is like, I know that and I'm not doing it. So it's like, ugh. But let me just say, this week has been going really good. The runs have been kind of crappy before this week. And then this week has been just really, really good. I had a really good run on the treadmill. Yes, I've been doing a lot of my training on the treadmill. I am working to get these mountain legs ready. So doing some hill workout, and I used to be able to actually do my interval work at home or like at the apartment gym that we had. Now we moved to a house and I no longer have the easy ability to go out and just hit the treadmill. I have to run or drive to the gym, which then adds more time, which then I'm like, ugh, I would just rather go run outside. So sometimes I've been doing that, but I'm like trying to get my ass back in gear. So I've been going to the gym and running on the treadmills. And last, I believe it was Monday, Tuesday, had a really, really good run. So I was super happy and super proud and just, it was great. And then, you know, training this week has just been really good. So I'm super excited to get back into the swing of things. That's kind of like the quick gist of life and training. I am looking and thinking about making a YouTube series of like my training as much as I can to kind of like share my journey through another area, and that would be YouTube. So it's something I'm working on, still kind of in the midst of like, do I really want to do this? It's so much more to do in my life, to be 100% honest, and I'm already kind of plate full and trying to manage everything else. So we'll see how it goes, but I am working on a video, documentary, whatever you want to call it. I'm working on a short video for my crewing and pacing experience with the Monster 300. And I talked to Charlie before I actually went out and crewed and paced him. I was like, would you be care if I like, or would you care if I went out there and took some video and made some content? Like, I don't want to be up in your face if you don't want it. And he's like, no, I don't care. So I thought about it and I thought about, I'm like, well, what am I going to do? It's the first 300. Like, what could I do to make this kind of a cool experience? And, I love crewing and pacing. So I'm out there and I'm thinking about it, like trying to think of the plan that I would do if I did, record some videos and make anything with it. So I got to going and I'm like, well, I'm literally crewing and pacing this race. So like, why don't I share my journey of crewing and pacing and like just share it in a video and, share my little journey with the Arizona Monster 300. So hopefully that is definitely in the works. I have been working on it. So it's a slow process. I'm learning because obviously I have no clue how to do YouTube, and like I make funny reels and stupid stuff like that on Instagram. But to be 100% honest, like I don't really put that much time and effort into it. It's quick, easy, and I just like make them. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes. Sometimes it does take me an hour and a half. And it's usually not like super professional. It's just kind of like winging it. And I have nothing wrong with that. It's what I like to do. It's what the time I have to give it. And now I'm trying to like get a little more creative. I've really enjoyed the little bit I have learned so far about content and making YouTube videos. And like, I've really been diving into YouTube and watching tons of videos. So I'm kind of excited to see what this brings. And obviously, if you don't know, now you know, these YouTube videos are on, or these podcast videos are on YouTube. So I've made like a nice little background. So anyone watching, thank you so much to my stepdad, Chris. He truly helped me set all this up. I couldn't have done it without him. And I'm sure it's going to change here and there. But for now, this is the look of the background. And, I'm just super excited to continue this process of like seeing how things go for me and giving it all I got. And I'll share my journey along the way because I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm doing the best I can. And each day is something new and something learned. And one big thing that I've been trying to do is like track things on my side to be a little more consistent and like hold myself a little more accountable. And I've been rating my days. So like I've been trying to realize like if it's a good day, if it's a bad day, if it's just a day, and kind of going through that. And it's really made me be more aware of like the actual day. I'm like not just coasting through anymore. I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to make sure I'm taking care of all of my responsibilities and just staying true to what really matters to me. So it's been helping. And I'm just here to keep going and do the best I can. So I will share my journey along the way. Maybe it'll be on the podcast, maybe it'll be on YouTube, who knows, but we'll find out throughout this amazing journey. But with all of that said and done, I'm super excited for this next training block. I'm excited to get in it and start really consistently working and getting back into the normal groove, because it happens, like we get in these webs and flows, and sometimes there's not that main priority in life that you're really going after. And that's for me, like I didn't have a race this spring or summer. So I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just out here running. And, yes, I am training, and this training has purpose. All of our training always has purpose, but it just got a little on the, back burner, but now it's back up front. I'm ready to go after training and get into it again. I miss the obsession of like getting my runs in every single day. So now it's trying to manage when I can get my runs in and figuring all of that out. But super excited. I'm not very excited for the summer running, but as of right now, it looks like I'm being on the treadmill anyway. So, can't complain too much there. But just really excited to see what this training block brings and how good I feel in the near future when I'm going after the Dragon, or the H9 Dragon, and after the Barkley Fall Classic. So super ready, super prepared. Well, getting prepared, I guess I should say. And now I think we should go into night running. So the biggest thing I think I get always asked is like, what do I do? How do I run in the night? And what do I do if I'm not confident running in the night? And it's a huge thing, especially for females to, and no disrespect towards males, but usually within the people that I've talked to, majority of females have a very, very hard time running at nighttime. Some guys do dislike running at night, but it's never so much the scarcity that I feel women have. And if you disagree, like, I'm sorry. But I will always stick up for women. So, and, I can honestly say like, maybe I'm one of the people that aren't really scared to run at night being a female. And I truly think that's just because like, I've just gone out and done it, and I've not like really thought about it. When I first originally started running, it was at my sister's, and we ran at night all the time, to be honest, but I always ran with her, which was really, really nice. So like, maybe that's where it went. Like I always had someone with me at first. And then once I moved away, I moved with my mom for a little bit. Really, really nice community. I was never concerned, always ran at night, or first thing in the morning. And then I did once have like a really scary experience. And that was when I lived with my partner at her apartment way back, like when we first started dating, hanging out, and I actually called the cops. So I will kind of explain that situation, then I'll get back to like what I would do, what I would suggest, and like how you can kind of train in night training. So what happened with me is I'd run out. It's like a circle apartment complex, and then you have there's only literally one street in and out of this apartment complex, and it's probably about half a mile. So I'd have to run like out of the apartment down that half a mile of a street, and then I could go into like a busy street and then run across the street, like tons of other options, but literally only one way in, one way out. And I'd run it so many times before, never had any, scared moments or anything like that. Always ran really smart. Sadly, I ran every single day at the same time because I would wake up, go run first thing in the morning, and then come home, get ready for work, and then go to work. So it was very, very repetitive. I hate saying that because that's like one of the things is don't be repetitive. But I did notice this Jeep was outside, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. And it happened, I think, 2 days in a row. The second day is when I actually called the cops. But the first day I was out and it was like down the road. So I ran around the building a few times and it followed me. And then I ran out the main street because I was like, at this point, like, I just need to get out of the apartment. Maybe he doesn't know or they don't know where they're going. So I ran down the street. They parked at like a side area. I ran down, did my thing, and then came back. And when I was coming back, they were still there. So I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Ran by them, checking my back the whole time. Didn't see them. I went inside. Funny enough, I believe it was this time too. I did like run around a different building, ran through the backside, and then like ran down the grass behind the building so they couldn't see me, and then like got in the house. The second day, like same exact thing happened, but they kept moving their car, which made me kind of wonder if they were like looking for some. I have no. It was really weird. Second day, super super weird. They were sitting in their Jeep, and it was there for multiple hours. I think I went out for like an hour and a half run. So I started. I saw them when I came back. I still had a few, like maybe half a mile, so I had to do like a few loops of this apartment or of the apartment complex, and the van or the Jeep was still there. It was just super weird. I had a really weird feeling. And for me, like that's my biggest telltale sign is like listen to your gut. I've ran that apartment complex so many times. Never once had a weird feeling. I've ran so many times outside in the dark in weird trails, things like that. Never had a weird feeling. And I just had a really, really weird feeling. So I came home, I did the same thing, ran through the back, ran down a different, like a couple different apartment or buildings, and then went in the backside of our actual building. And then I remember like being kind of weirded out. I reached out to a friend of mine who is a cop and like talked to them and explained to them my situation. So I did call the cops, and I just reported. I didn't like call 911, but I reported, the weirdness, and they said they would have someone come out there at this time. Mind you, this was when I was running at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was like 2:50, 3:30 ish in the morning, and just very weird, creepy vibes. So the next few days I actually did not go out and run because I was like, I'm just going to let it be, let things go. The next time I did go out running, I did see the cop out. So like, it was nice to know like they were showing up and being out there, but I never saw the Jeep after that. And then we moved shortly after, which was even kind of better. I hate to say that. And then once we moved, I moved right across the street from the golf course that I was working at. So I would literally run out of the apartment complex and run straight into my gated community of the golf course and would run on the golf course. So like I would run on the golf course a little bit and then get into the community and then run in the community. It was amazing. I felt so safe, never was concerned. I was running, 3 o'clock in the morning. It was amazing. So like one of the biggest things I think that everyone kind of puts like on the back burner is like listen to your stomach, listen to the gut, listen to like that feeling, because sometimes you just get weird feelings. Get out, don't do it. Listen to yourself. Like I feel like us as humans, we have really good instincts, and when those instincts are showing us like, oh, something's not right, then we need to listen to them, because something is not right, and I don't want anyone to ever do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable or unsafe or anything of that nature. So the biggest thing, listen to your stomach, like listen to your gut, listen to that, whatever you want to call it inside you that tells you like, this doesn't feel right. And if that's running at night, period, then don't do it. I never want to encourage someone to run at night and be super, uncomfortable or super insecure. Like that's not a good run. But do I think running at night can be useful? Yes, I do. So what are some things that we could do in order for you to run comfortably and safely and feel, more at peace with running at night? Because if you are running 100 mile, there's a really good chance you're going to have to run at night. So trying to do that, one of the biggest things I could advise is like finding a community or an area that's super safe. Whether that be you live in a gated community, you have a gated community near you, or you have a friend's house that has a gated community, or anything like that, like secure. Mind you, just because it's a gated community does not mean anything. And I hate to say that, it sounds horrible, but nowadays you just know, and I hate to say it, not nowadays, every day. You just never know. And I feel like nowadays we do hear way more about it. So being in a familiar area helps, but having someone with you also helps. So if you have a friend, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's a dog, having someone with you would bring so much comfort. And if it didn't, then that's obviously not an option for you. But trying to run with someone to get you out there and feel more confident and comfortable. If you're a female, try to make it a male that will make you feel more comfortable, or a female, trying to make it another female that will make it more comfortable for you, or an animal. Like I have two dogs. Only one of them would actually run with me, but he is someone that I would feel so safe taking him out there and running. And if, like a prime example, me, I'm not going to ever ask my partner to go out and run. I love her dearly. And I'm not saying she wouldn't protect me, because she would probably beat the shit out of someone, but I would try to protect her. Like that instinct for me it wouldn't be like, oh, protect me. It'd be like, oh, let me protect you. So if I was scared, I wouldn't say I'd choose my partner to go out there with me. I would choose, honestly, my dog. Another thing, in some areas, depending on where you live, you can carry, you can concealed carry, you can open carry. Like I follow a lot of females on social media that live in an area that they can open carry, and they carry and they run, or they live in an area that they conceal carry and they conceal carry and run. I don't really know how you conceal carry and run, because it is just uncomfortable. But um you got to do what's best for you. Carry something for defense. So like I know there's pepper spray or a taser, or they make these like weird ring things that you put on your fingers that like you can poke people with, or there is like things that like go around your hand that you could hit someone with. I hate saying that we need something like this, but it is what it is, and we do. So if you can carry something to protect you, bring a partner with you, and do what you can to make yourself feel safe. So like running in a gated community, running in an area that feels familiar and or safe, something that you feel is you know open enough, not closed off enough, somewhere that you feel protected. I hate to say somewhere that is like protected, but more or less like somewhere that is open enough that you could be out running and not be super concerned or worried about like being out in the open. So doing your best to be in an area that is safe. I hate saying like we have to watch our backs, but you do. And it is what it is in today's world. You got to do what's best for you. And if this boils it down and you're like, running is just not that option for me outside at night or early in the morning, then don't do it. It's that simple. Another thing you could do is wear high vis stuff. So like something that makes you visible, not only for like the sense of like other people, because obviously like there's animals out there, there's humans out there, there's cars out there, but being able to have something reflective is huge. I'm sure anyone that does know, Nick Bear got hit by a car. So Nick Bear is a amazing athlete. He's a hybrid athlete, and he was out running, which he runs every morning, super super early, and he got hit by a car. So he's okay. And if you don't know the story, like he was out running, he got clipped in the back of the leg by a car that just didn't see him. He was on a busy road, and it's a road that he had to run on to like get to a trail or get to an area outside of his house. So like it was, hate to say this, but like he had to take that road to get anywhere to go run. And things like this happen. I have literally almost been hit by a car as well. Not anything where obviously it happened, but I just remember thinking like, obviously they couldn't see me. They could have been playing on their phone, but like there was literally a red light and I had the crossing. So like I was in the right and I was going through, and it was super late at night. They were going to run a light and they almost hit me. So luckily I was paying attention, and that's like another thing. It's like pay attention to your surroundings. So have the high vis there just in case to be seen, but also have your head up, be on a swivel, be looking around, pay attention, not only for cars, but for animals, for humans, for, anything. And not say all the bad things. It's just to be aware and know what's around you. I highly suggest not having two headphones in. If you have AirPods, only listen to one very low, or they make these amazing aftershocks or pro shocks, like shocks. They're headphones that go all around your ear and it actually doesn't go in your ear. So you can hear everything out there, but you also have the ability to hear your music, and you can turn your music up kind of loud and hear it, and you can turn it kind of softly. So having something like that to be aware of your surroundings, amazing. I highly suggest it. Or if you are scared and like say you're in a trail and you're more worried about animals being out there, like play loud music. Yes, it draws attention to you, but it also draws attention for the animals to hear it and be like, oh, I want away from this. Majority of animals don't want to be bothered. They want to be left alone. And majority of encounters, except for like cats, like they do chase their prey, but usually you run up on an animal and you frighten it, and that's what makes them get angry or get upset and like scare a human, or us scare it. So it's more or less like we run up on an animal, we both get scared, and then it's frantic. But if you play music, it allows things to hear you. It kind of keeps things going away. So doing things like this is like just little things like, be aware of your surroundings, listen to music quietly, or don't listen to music at all, and be able to listen to everything around you. That way you're prepared for all the weird things that you may hear and or see and or experience when you're out there. And then also, like, if you do choose to be on a trail and you're out and you're a little scared about animals, try listening to music. Mind you, this doesn't always work, but it's just doing your best to be truly aware of what is out there. That way you can protect yourself as best as possible. I know, like, I've listened to Sally McRae talk about this, like running at night or running on the trail at nighttime and or on day, because there's so many encounters with animals out there and you just don't know. So my biggest advice, and she says this as well, is do the research on that trail. So like I live here in Florida. I know majority of the trails that I run on, there's usually hogs, there's always snakes, there's sometimes alligators, and occasionally like I may run into deer. I've never ran into a bear, but I know Florida runners that have ran into bears. A prime example, and then across Florida, a lot of people actually run in on bears, and I was super upset that I didn't. Not to say like I'd want anything crazy to happen, but I would love to see and experience that in person, far away. Obviously, I want them to be far away, and I want to scream and then them go and leave me alone. But like researching where you're going to be, what is going to be there. That way you can be as prepared as possible, because the worst thing you want to do is get to a trail and encounter something and have absolutely no clue what to do. So like do the research. And another thing, like in certain areas, like I literally just moved to this area and I've been scoping it out for a few weeks now, running as much of the streets as I can. And some areas I'm like, oh, like this looks really nice. And my neighborhood, as of from what I can tell, it's really nice. Everyone kind of keeps to themselves. It's a bunch of older people or like middle-aged people with kids. So it's nice to see that. Like I do feel safe here. I have a park that's maybe like a mile down the road, and I did run it the other night and I was a little creeped out, and I don't know why, but I was like, I just don't think I'll run this ever at nighttime. The bathrooms were open and everything, and I was just like, nah, just it didn't feel right. And it's nothing against this park, and it just wasn't something that I was like, yes, I'm definitely gonna be okay running in this. And another example, I was like, oh well, actually, like, why don't I just run from here to the actual golf course, because I am still relatively close. But in order to run that area, I have to be on the main road. And there is a section on this main road where I know homeless people live, or just like I've seen some sketchy shit, to be 100% honest. I'm like, I don't necessarily want to run down this main road. And it's, probably 2 miles down the road to get to where I would want to go. And at the end of the day, like, it's just not worth it for me. So I would much rather run little circles out here, or, somewhere kind of closer to home, but also trying to keep things changed up. I'm trying not to run the consistent same route over and over again, because weirdly enough, like, it's just people pay attention to stuff like that. So I'm trying to change it up. I'm running random routes, and honestly, I'm just kind of scoping out the neighborhood. But that's another thing, like, know the area that you're going to go into. I would never ever go run at night in a trail that I've never ran before, or in an area that I've never ran before. Like, I want to see it in the daytime. I want to experience it in the daytime. I want to know what is around there. That way I'm prepared. And it's not only for, like the things that scare me, but also like the terrain. I want to know what I'm going to experience, because at the end of the day, like, a headlamp is great, but you'd never know. You may run into something that you're not sure of. You might be on a trail that you're a little sketched out about. Like, I'd rather have that ability to know what it looks like in daytime and then go there at nighttime. A prime example, I've ran multiple times at a park nearby that it's Oscar Shire. And in that area, I've run so much of it, and I ran it at night once and had no second guesses. Like, I knew that course, I knew that area. I wasn't running in a little worried about like what this turn might be or what that might turn might be. I knew what it was going to be. So I felt super confident, super comfortable on there at nighttime. I didn't encounter any wildlife or anything like that. And that is an actual park. So there's tons of campers out there. And I truly didn't feel weird, awkward, or like threatened by any means. But that was me. This is not trying to say I'm this is how you need to feel, because it's not. I'm just very fortunate. Maybe it's the dumb confidence in myself that I just have kind of gone out and I run and just, run my shit and come home and I'm done. But one thing to try to do is like to just gain that confidence. And if you're not sure how to, like I said, you could try to run with a friend that could help. You could just try to go out for like, 10 minutes and back, 15 minutes and back, 20 minutes and back. Keep the time outside at night as short as possible, but to gain a little bit of confidence here and there and consistently throughout time. One thing I will say, like, if you are really, really, really scared and you have the access to a treadmill and you want to run at night to like understand how it feels to run at night, because it is way different. So like if you're training for a 100-mile, 200-mile and you need to run at nighttime and you don't want to necessarily run outside in trail or on the pavement at nighttime and you have the treadmill, like go out in your garage and run on the treadmill at night to experience that nighttime feel. Obviously you would not experience running at night because you're in your garage, your lights are on and all of that, but you could understand what it feels like to run at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, which could be very beneficial to you as well. But I will say, I highly, highly encourage to try to figure out a way to run, whether that's with a friend or, or even going out for a walk with a friend and using your headlamp or waist lamp or whatever light you need to use for a race, because it is way different than just going out there and running during the day. It is, depending on the light, if you have a headlamp and it's a really, really good one, it could light up the whole ground. But these rocks throw shadows and these sticks throw shadows. Your body throws a shadow, and sometimes it's a little wonky to see. And it truly depends on like if you want the headlamp or if you want the waist lamp. I personally love both of them. I only do actually have a headlamp. I'm been looking at getting a waist lamp, just haven't done it yet. And one thing I would have to say is like try the headlamp out. If you don't like it and you don't feel safe enough, look at the waist lamp, or vice versa. Like it doesn't matter. The waist lamps are like coming in very big right now, I guess you could say. A lot of my friends have gotten them, and I was fortunate enough. Sean Hurd, shout out to him. He let me borrow his waist lamp during the Across Florida, and it was very, very useful. I had my pacers wear it at night. They were in front of me, and then I had my headlamp on me, and I could see what was in front of me. It was super, super useful, and I do like them, to be 100% honest. I'm just haven't got there. I don't have a race coming up, as I had mentioned earlier, so I haven't actually bought one, but I did buy a brand new headlamp, and I'm loving it. More to come on that headlamp. But one thing I think that that is just always kind of forgotten is like running at night is not the same as running at day. They're, the sounds are way more intense. It's just a different type of running. And I do think and encourage a lot of people to try it out as much as possible. And trying to overcome that fear. Mind you, when you're in a race, it's way different, because it's a race, everyone's out there just running. You're usually with some people, or you're with a pacer or something of that nature, so you get to experience it that way. But just trusting yourself to get out there and get a little bit of experience before you do the actual race would gain so much confidence within that race. And we all want the confidence within races to go out and crush these races as best as possible. So I highly encourage that. And one thing I would recommend to do is to let a friend know, let your sister know, let your mom know, let your partner know. Let them know when you're running outside or on a trail, or somewhere unsafe that you feel uncomfortable. Let them track you. If you don't have like the GPS tracker, share your location. If you can't do that, I'm sure there's multiple different ways that you can share your location on like a Samsung or something like that, that you could have someone be able to track you. I know through Strava, I can have a live tracker and send it to a couple numbers. So like you could always send it to whoever it is, your mom, your partner, your sister, your brother, whoever, to let them know where you are and when you are. That way you can feel safe knowing like someone's tracking you and you can check in with them. Like a prime example, when I first used to start cycling a lot, I would tell my mom, like, hey, I'm going out for like a 2 hour bike ride. If you don't hear from me, like, please come find me. And, like she always had my location. So, like, I always felt I was safe. And that was, during the daytime, I would even do that, not only at nighttime. And, I think having that like little bit of like, oh, someone knows where I'm at, it's a huge confidence builder. And at the end of the day, like, that's just all we're trying to do is build confidence out there for us when we're running in the nighttime. So doing what we can to become more confident out there is huge. So any of these tips that I've just recommended, do that. But another thing I think that a lot of people kind of wait to do is like mentally doing it. You have to talk to yourself. Like, we are all inside our heads. I literally just had this conversation with someone, and I think we forget, like, we have this narrative in our head. So when we get scared of something, like, oh, it's probably not safe, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, you need to quiet that. It's really hard to do, and not everyone can truly do it, and it gets the best of us. It's why we do these ultra marathons, or like, we want to go out there and see what we can do, and it's to beat this voice in our head majority of the time. So we need to do that when it comes to nighttime. So don't let yourself get worked up. Don't let that voice keep talking and talking and talking and going and like, tricking you. Yes, crazy things can happen, and I never want any of that to happen to anyone. But do your best to go out confidently. Like, you're just going to go out for a quick 30-minute run. You need to gain experience on running at nighttime. You can do this. You can quiet that crazy voice in your head. And at the end of the day, if you can't and you're still really worked up, take a friend with you, take your dog with you, take something to protect yourself. Whatever you got to do to make yourself do that, but know that you need to build that mental resiliency to be able to do this. And it's, one of the very, very hard things about running is, like, there's so many things we have to try to overcome. And one of them is running at night for a lot of people. So again, it's not easy. I just sit here and talk about it, and I have voice, like, it's been pretty easy for me. I've never really feared running at night. I used to be terrified of the dark when I was really young, but I'm not no more, thankfully. And I didn't have an option. The only time that I could get in a run was at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And that was to truly get my runs done first thing in the morning, and then be able to have the rest of my days to do what I need to do. So it was running super early. So I had to overcome any type of fear and anxiety or scarcity that I may have had. And I don't even think I gave myself the chance to really think about it. I just went out there and did it. And here I am running at night, running late at night, all that good stuff. So it takes time. And I really hope everyone can learn to get through it and not take this the wrong way. Like, I mean, no harm, no ignorance. We all deal with everything a little differently, and running at night can be very, very difficult for a lot of people. It's very scary, not only for men, but for women. So I want to just try to encourage people to get out there and run at night to learn. And if they can't find someone to run with, and they've tried it a few times and it's just not working, then that's okay. There's no harm in trying to do a few things and then it not working out. But if you ever have any questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out. I will gladly talk to you about it and try to talk you through it and get you through things. It's always good to voice these like insecurities or thoughts, questions and all that to someone, because then they can help you get through it. And if it's someone that's like, listen, I just don't think it's a good idea for you to run at night, then maybe it's not a good idea for you to run at night. But don't be afraid to talk to a few different people to see what is other options could be, and figure out a way to do this. Because the only way to actually do something that is really scary, and it's either one of two ways: you go out and just do it and don't think about it, or you kind of plan, and you plan things so someone can run with you, or you have enough protection with you, or you just plan a route that's going to actually work for you, enough lights, enough all the things to make you feel safe, and go out there and tackle this nighttime running. So I think that's kind of everything. The biggest thing I have to say, and I know I said at the beginning, is like trusting your gut, because crazy shit happens. And I would never want someone to be like, oh, but I had this really bad feeling, but I listened to Liz's podcast and she said just to go fucking do it. So I'm not saying that. Like, listen to your stomach, do all the things you can to try to prevent and prepare yourself and, be prepared for just anything. Animals, humans, craziness, scariness, all that good stuff. Like do the best you can to get out there. And one thing that like I kind of wanted to touch base on was I had a few like people reach out to me and ask me questions about like training at night. So one thing I think that is kind of not really talked about is like how to night train, and then if you do, how do you night train and train at night. So I think there's a whole bunch of different ways to do this as a coach. I hate saying that, but it's so true. There's multiple different ways, and depending on each person is how you would approach it. If I have someone that doesn't enjoy running at night and are scared to run at night, like that's the first thing we need to tackle. It's not I want them to go out and run for 4 hours at nighttime and have them be terrified the whole time. Not at all what I'm looking for. But if someone is comfortable running at night and they've ran at night before and they're looking to get some experience for a 200 or a 100 of running at night when you're really, really tired, there's a couple different ways, as I'd mentioned, that you can do this. And like one of the more known, more ways to do it, if you don't know, I'm going to explain it. And one of the things is like to know that like this is very demanding on your body. It's going to make you super tired. It's going to put you in a really fatigued state. So trying to do this far out enough from your race is super important, but also being, if you can, being able to have a deload week right after is so important, or a recovery week. That way, these long hours that you're up and the tiredness that you're running through, the next week you have the ability to rest your body, recover, and then get back into fully training for the 100 or 200 mile that you were training for. So it's like one of the biggest key takeaways. I have a lot of athletes that when I coach them, they're like, I want to do it this week. And I'm like, next week's going to be a deload then. Or let's try to do it this week so that way we can have a deload week after. And I always let them know like, hey, let's plan this. That way your family knows, your partner knows, or whoever the case may be. So like if you need to take a nap, you have the ability to take a nap. I suggest getting extra sleep that day after we do this. So like if it's a Friday, Saturday, or a Saturday, Sunday, that night during the daytime, if you can, to get some extra sleep, because it could definitely be useful. Eating enough, recovering enough, sleep is the recovery, doing some mobility and stuff like that. Obviously that's all in recovery, but eating enough for sure, and then getting in sleep. So after all this running at night and running through the tiredness, getting sleep after that is super, super important. And trying to like bank some sleep before that is also really, really important. So like one of the ways is doing back-to-back runs. And how I would try to schedule this, and it's a little different, you can kind of move things around, is either waking up super early on, say, Saturday. We're going to do a Saturday, Sunday experience or back-to-back run. So waking up super early on Saturday and going out for your run right away. Let's say we're going to run this as a mock race and your race starts at 6:30. So I want you to get up like you normally would for the race, get yourself pumped up, prepared, going, and eat the breakfast that you want to eat for the race, drink the fluids that you're going to drink for the race, and then go out and do your long run. So say it's a couple hours of a long run, you go out, you come home, you stock up on food, you stock up on all the goodness, the liquids, all the calories, and then you go enjoy your normal day. Through that day, I want you to stay awake. I want you to stay up as late as possible. Not something like, super, super crazy, but like for me, staying up late is around 11, 12 o'clock. So I would try to stay up a little later, get a few hours of sleep. And I know this is crazy, but like 2 to 3 hours of sleep, wake up super early. So say 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and then go run your next back-to-back long run. And with that long run, say you get done at like, if you wake up at 3, you run 4 hours, it's still early. The kids may still be sleeping. Your partner still may be sleeping. The sun may not even be up yet. You can eat, rest, get the fluids, go back to sleep. Like that's okay. Or stay up a little bit and then go back to sleep, take a nap, whatever the case may be. But that's a prime example of like running really, really tired and being able to run at nighttime, which is awesome training. I highly encourage trying to do something like this with knowing that you have a deload week after. Again, I will say that again. I don't want you to do this in the peak of training and then be super tired and be like trashed and trying to continue training through a weekend where you do something like this. Another way that you could also do this is running. So like say, you wake up early, go do your normal day things, run super, super late at night, then come home, take a little bit of nap. You could try napping, like if you're doing a 300 or a 200 or 300, heck, you could try like taking an hour or two nap and then going out and running again. That's an amazing experience. Or you could go out and say, we're going to just do one long run at night, and it'd be from like 11 at night till the next morning, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And you could try taking a dirt nap. These things are super, super useful and could really help with anyone trying to learn how to run at night and like that experience, that nighttime running, and then to gain some confidence running at night as well. What I will say though, make sure you recover properly. I don't want anyone to go out there and do this and then be like completely wasted and be super, super tired and blame me because, as I had mentioned before, everyone's a little different. So it's trying to make sure it's all as best as we can. And then one thing that you could also do, depending on how your training is like you want to run really tired and know how to experience, so you could kind of change the speed. I say that with the preference of please either talk to your coach and experience or explain like what you want, or try your best to prepare yourself where you're not going to go out and be doing sprints. I'm not encouraging you doing sprints as rate of perceived effort. I'm talking more of like a steady state run, a 4 to a 5 rate of perceived effort, and throwing something like that in there on the second run to make you a little more tired and like really experience what it is to run tired, fatigued, pushing yourself. That's really it. There's so much more into this. And if you have questions, the Everyday Ultra team is always looking for more athletes to coach and encourage and give you the best experience you could possibly have and be a part of this amazing community. So if you're looking for more thoughts, wisdom, insight, you can book a console and it's free, no strings attached. You can talk to me or many of the amazing coaches that we have on the team and join this amazing team. And if you don't want to join a team, don't hesitate to reach out and ask people for help. As we all know, this community is amazing and full of great information. So that's like the biggest thing I will encourage. Now, I have had a lot of questions about this and a lot of them have been answered. And if I haven't answered them, I will answer them in a future YouTube video or a podcast, like what headlamp I'm using. I currently just bought a new Phoenix headlamp. I really, really love it. And I want to give a review on it. So keep a lookout for that. Another thing I've been asked, and this is like a big thing, is like, what do you do about mountain lions? What do you do about bears? What do you do about animals? Like how do you protect yourself and what do you do? And I have to tell you, like, I genuinely don't know everything when it comes to animals. I do know, like, we have bears out here. Mind you, I hate to say this to sound silly, but they're kind of small bears. A bear is a bear and it will attack you no matter what. And I'm not trying to say it in that aspect, but like being bigger than the bear and making loud noises is great. But also you have to know the difference between like a black bear and a grizzly bear, because I don't know what to do when I approach a grizzly bear because there aren't grizzly bears out here. There's not mountain lions out here. We do have bobcats, and I have seen multiple out on runs, to be 100% honest. I'm not gonna say I was chased by one, but I definitely had one like running near me and I was like, oh my God. So I stopped and started like banging my hands together and it went away. I do not think it was chasing me. I just think it was genuinely like running and I happened to be running right there too. And that happened. And like crazy things like that happen. And, I truly can't give you the best advice because half of the animals I don't know. So do the research, take the time to answer all of the questions that you have to make sure that you're confident and comfortable when you go out there. That way you can attack this run with no hesitation and no worries or, nothing crazy out there. You just go out there, have a nice little run and then come home. Another thing that like I've been asked through these questions, like, have I encountered wildlife? So I've kind of briefly gone over that. Nothing super crazy, tons of snakes, a few hogs, quite a few hogs to be 100% honest. And then I've seen a bobcat before. I'm pretty sure I've seen a fox before, but I couldn't tell if it was a fox or I don't even know. So I was just like, oh, cool, like an animal. It ran away. It was terrified of me. And then the last thing that someone asked was about hallucinations. So I've never personally hallucinated, and I've been told that that's good because it means I've taken care of myself. And I've been told multiple different things about like why people hallucinate. I think the one that I do believe, and I've heard from a good friend Greg, is he said that majority of the time when people hallucinate, it's because their eyes are tired. So like resting your eyes is really, really big. Even if that means like you can't actually sleep, when you try to sleep, at least closing your eyes and getting rested, staying fueled, having all the calories in you and being hydrated is another big thing. Like taking care of you personally will prevent hallucinations. It's what I'm told. It's what I believe. And, I was very fortunate not to experience any hallucinations because, to be 100% honest, I don't ever want to. I like to be in control and I don't want to deal with any of the craziness out there. But other than that, majority of the questions that were asked were very like similar. I hate to say it, about animals, what to do in certain situations, and I felt like I answered all of them through this amazing podcast that I made. So if you have any other questions, comment below, shoot me a DM, and let's talk about it because I'm here for you guys. And, I just want to take the time to say I truly appreciate each and every one of you for listening. If you could do me a favor, share the podcast, share the YouTube channel, share it all, and help me grow this amazing community for the Tribe of Runners.